Zero? Zero? There are 0 Jamin Burton statues outside the Hollywood St. Louis? I mean, you may not have 3 or 4, but you got none, man. Alright, been driving about an hour. I'm in Ponchatoula, Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Got some gas. It was a lot darker than this when I started driving. I have a 10-hour drive to St. Louis. Well, about 9 hours left, so I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't even tell you yet. A lot of filming, a lot of driving. Been losing track of what I've been telling you, what I haven't. Why I was going this way, and why I'm changing directions, and that's about it. Okay, I think I'm in, let's adjust that camera. I think I am in Carroll, Mississippi. Just gonna get set up here. I'm adjacent to the Burger King parking lot. You could see it, but I'm not really in there. Thought I would tell you this route I'm taking. It's hilarious that I was in Omaha and I'm gonna wind up after a very scenic route in Council Bluffs. I got bread. And when I was in Texas at an H-E-B supermarket, I got some bruschetta. Okay, so the point of, there were 2 major stops. One was Houston to see my friend I hadn't seen in a long time. And the other was Jacksonville. So I really wanted to go to Houston to see my friend. Really had no interest in playing poker there in the entire state. But I really did want to play poker in Florida. For many years, I've heard like amazing things about poker in Florida. And you know, it's not near much else. So tough to get there. It's not on the way somewhere. Bruschetta. But they have Wawas. That's awesome. I know 2 people who moved there recently. Sure, I'd see them in the poker room or at the Wawa. But it was going to be like, all these stops have been like 1 or 2 days. It was going to be 8 days in Jacksonville. I just really wanted to play poker like for the first time and play a lot of hours in a week over there. And Hurricane Milton is messing it up. Hurricane Helene wasn't really too bad for getting into and out of Jacksonville. It seemed like getting in was fine. Getting out, going north afterwards, just stay away from the Tennessee, North Carolina border. Stay as far east as possible and things would be fine. But Hurricane Milton, which is like supposed to be hitting like now, that was way worse. Or it was supposed to be. So when I was in Houston and first saw Hurricane Milton and what it was supposed to do, I was like on the fence about canceling. And then when a state of emergency was declared for 54 counties in Florida, one of them being Duval County, which is where Jacksonville is, I canceled. Actually got a refund on a non-refundable reservation because Airbnb has a major disruptive events policy. If there's a state of emergency declared, among other things, you can get a refund. Airbnb support and the hosts were very accommodating. It was a fairly simple process. So canceled that. But that's why I was in New Orleans, because Texas, Houston, Texas to Jacksonville, pretty far. So that was a stop in the middle, someplace that had poker. Also planned when I booked it, maybe playing in Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, and Biloxi. Ended up playing in Lake Charles of those 3. But anyway, that's why I was in New Orleans. And but now I'm not going east anymore, so got to go this roundabout way to get back to the northeast. Today's going to be the longest drive of the month. After this, kind of like a half day for me of driving tomorrow, and then a half day again, and then some fairly short drives. After that, I'll be in the northeast, and you know, it'll be like southern Maryland, northern Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Atlantic City. Nothing's too far. I think the longest drive I could possibly have the rest of the year would be like MGM National Harbor to my parents' house. Which I don't know, 5 hours, 6.5 hours, something like that. So today's a long drive. I'm almost halfway done with the drive today, but I wanted to explain the route to you. So like I said, when I was leaving Vegas, I left, you know, Council Bluff makes a ton of sense because there's so much east of it. That's the first stop. And then I wanted to see my friend in Houston, wanted to play a lot in Jacksonville, so stopped a couple times on the way to Houston. One time after was the plan, and then Jacksonville. And then I was going to stop in North Carolina, check out the Wake Forest campus, and then be in the Northeast, bouncing around the Northeast for the rest of the year. So it's St. Louis today, and then 2 days after today, I should be in the Northeast. A lot of driving in like a 10-day period. I think it's going to be 9 cities in 11 days, going back to my last day in the Council Bluffs, Omaha area. Well, there you go. Should have one stop left after this. One stop, and then I get to the Airbnb, and then I'll go to Hollywood, St. Louis, play a little bit. So, gotta finish eating some bruschetta. There's not a ton left in here. And see everyone in about 3 hours. Standing next to a giant propane tank. Hope it doesn't explode, but I want some shade. Thought this is my last stop. I'm like 3.5 hours from St. Louis. Thought I would tell you about what New Orleans poker was like, because it was awesome. It was kind of like going back in time. A lot of players were price inelastic. So when they have a decision, they're facing a raise or a bet, they're either calling or they're not. The amount doesn't matter. This happened a lot in Wisconsin back in the day. I remember it was one of the first times I played in Wisconsin, maybe the only 6th or 7th time I ever played live casino poker. I raised to 17. It was 1-2. There was one limp. I made it 17. A guy made it 34 in the cutoff. And I didn't think he was folding. Like the amount didn't matter. I think a lot of people would have made it 75 to 100. The amount did not matter. He was calling a raise, any number he was calling. I went all in for 325 over his 34, and he beat me into the pot. He was behind, and he did not improve. I won that hand, so I did that a lot in Wisconsin. You could get away with it a lot back then. Not so much lately in Vegas. You could do it in Planet Hollywood all the time. Now, it happens at Sahara. You know, no straddle or anything. You could just raise to 30 and get action. Can't really pull that off in other places, but in New Orleans, Caesars New Orleans, that was happening a lot. I think there was only, yeah, I know for a fact, there was only one hand I raised pre-flop in my 2 days there, and the number was smaller than $20. There was once, there was no straddle, nothing, no limp. It folded to me on the button, and I made it 15. I thought 20 was a little big with just the blinds left to act. I made it 15, both of them called. I guess I could have gone bigger, but every other hand I raised pre-flop was 20 or bigger at the 1-3 table. Yeah, that was probably the most notable thing. Also, it's 1-3, but match the stack. So really, unless you're starting a table, which I didn't in either day, if a table's already going, I mean, it's pretty much uncapped. Match the stack and uncapped are the same thing. We had a lot of people just buy in for they would look over at the table, buy in for a stack of green and whatever other in red they needed. Stack of green is 500 to you know, be about the same stack as the big stack. And that was great though, because in MGM is uncapped in Vegas. A lot of people who sit deep, not everyone, but a lot of the people who sit super deep because it's uncapped are really just waiting for nuts versus second nuts. Caesars New Orleans was not like that at all. People were playing deep, and we had rivers go bet raise 3-bet. There was a hand that went bet raise 3-bet to, I think the 3-bet was to 300. Neither guy was all in. The winner had the third nuts. He had the queen high flush, and the guy who raised and then called the 3-bet never showed. He had to have a lot worse. I mean, he had a better flush at best, but I could see that guy showing up with just 2 pair. Yeah, so stacks are deep, it plays big, and for a 1-3 game, you could get away with using sizing for a 2-5 or even a 5-10 game. So that was interesting. Enjoyed my time there. Little annoying driving in because Canal Street is so busy. There's a lot of lights, and especially not knowing how the garage worked before I was there. For a second day, it wasn't bad, but it's across the street and the spots are kind of narrow and the aisles are kind of narrow, but I mean, once you know how to do it, it's fine. So really enjoyed my time in New Orleans, and yeah, I got about 3.5 hours left till I get to the Airbnb, and then I'm gonna head to the Hollywood St. Louis. Oh, and by the way, the transition, the shot of me while I was the shot I used while I was driving, pretty sure that was a lavender field. Tough to tell from the road, but pretty sure that's what it was. Also, the last scene where I was talking, that was exit 185 on I-55. That was the turnoff to Mississippi State Bulldogs, and like 60 miles north about, I passed the turnoff for Ole Miss Rebels. Eli Manning played football there, DK Metcalf played football there. Can't think of anyone else right now. But yeah, so drove through the length, south to north Mississippi. I was in Tennessee for like what felt like 10 minutes, and I've been in Arkansas since I left Tennessee. So I think I'm driving the length of Arkansas south to north, and then I'll be in Missouri. All right, in the Airbnb. Didn't realize how far the casino is. It's about a half-hour drive, but gonna head there. I need to film the intro that I didn't film yet, that you already saw, but I've been thinking about. So what's gonna happen? Gotta go there for that. Gonna play a little. It's 6:45 local time right now. And yeah, don't need to leave too early. Not a ton of driving tomorrow. So probably not leaving before 9 a.m. tomorrow. Much different than today. So I can play a little bit. Gonna head there. Not tired. And I'll be there. Zero? There are 0 Jamin Burton statues outside the Hollywood St. Louis? I mean, you may not have 3 or 4, but you got none, man. Okay, got a few pictures for you guys. Here's just the felt. This was an empty table while I was waiting for a seat, but nice felt. Also, Old Bravo, just like Norman, Oklahoma, just noticed. Also, it is its own room in the casino, so you see the doors here, but it's really a bad idea in Vegas. In other cities, here, Norman, Harrah's, North Kansas City, not really a big deal. I still prefer it very open, but in cities that aren't Vegas, it doesn't really make the games worse. The games are still very high quality. And just wanted to point out how much space there is. Look at this. Between these two tables, well, the one that's not going on the left and the one that is going on the right, that is a ton of space to walk through. Some places it's like, I'm thinking especially Bellagio during the series where they add the extra tables. It's like, man, you can't walk. It's not enough for one person to walk by, so it's nice having a little space between the tables in the poker room. All right, I'm heading out. Long day, but it's also kind of tame in there. There are 5 tables going, a tournament, an Omaha mix table. I don't know what the mix is, and 3 1-3s, but pretty quiet for the amount of people in there. But like this room, historically, today was probably the slowest it's ever been of the like 5-6 times I played here, but I'm gonna head back and tell you a couple more things in the garage. So if you're wondering, those 2 times in 2018 and 19, my summers of law school, lived in Nebraska, drove east for poker. In 2018, played National Harbor, MGM National Harbor, in Oxon Hill, Maryland most of the summer. In 19, chunk of the summer in Atlantic City, another chunk in Oklahoma. But I stopped here both times. I was hoping to run into Jamin Burton. I didn't run into him any of the times. So ended up meeting him in Vegas eventually, but I think both summers in each direction, driving east and back west, I stopped here for 1 or 2 nights, hoping he'd be playing in the room the same day. He had just started making the videos, and never happened, but met him in Bally's. And yeah, if you're ever in the area, Lumiere is downtown. You might call it Horseshoe. And pretty close to here is Ameristar. I've never been in either of the other 2 casinos in the area. Just, you know, watched, didn't really know anything about the St. Louis area till Jamin started making videos, and he was always playing here, so I came here every time, including today. Back to my car. I'm gonna head back to the Airbnb, and tomorrow head elsewhere. A lot of one-night stops on this route to eventually where I'm going. So tomorrow, another video much like today, not quite as much driving. That's good for me. And remember, rice is a spoon food.